Good morning, grade 5 students. It's Miss Liliane talking, and today we're going to introduce a new grammar chapter concerning present progressive and yes/no questions in the present progressive. As you know, in English we have three main tenses. We have the past, the present, and the future. And for each one of these there are four different aspects. We have the simple, we have the continuous, we have the perfect, and we have the perfect continuous, or instead of the continuous we can call it progressive. So the four aspects of each tense are the simple, the progressive, the perfect, and the perfect progressive. Now what we are going to discuss is the progressive, and we're going to start with the present progressive, not past progressive nor future progressive. We are talking here about present progressive. What is the present progressive? The present progressive, or also called the present continuous, is a verb form used in modern English that combines the present tense with the continuous aspect. Thus, it expresses actions taking place in the moment of speaking and continuing for a short time in the present. So the present progressive shows us a verb that is happening in the present and continuing for a short time in the present. It didn't stop in the present. It didn't just happen and was over. Instead, it started in the present and it took a short time within the present. Through the following presentation, we're going to discuss form of present progressive, number 1, number 2, uses of present progressive, number 3, yes/no questions in present progressive. Starting with number 1 and the form of present progressive. How to form present progressive? To form the present progressive, we use verb be in present, like am, is, are, with the main verb and ing. So the auxiliaries used are verb be in present, like am, is, or are. We know that verb be consists of am, is, are in the present, was and were in the past. Here, since it's present progressive, so we use verb be in present only. So that's why we use am, is, or are with the main verb and ing. Now, if you can notice here, to form an affirmative sentence, we are going to learn how to form affirmative and negative. To form an affirmative sentence in the present progressive, you need to have the subject, and then you'll take what we discussed up here. The verb be in present, like am, is, or are, plus main verb plus ing, and then the object. Look at the example here. You're going to have I as the subject, the pronoun I, and then am as verb be in present, the auxiliary am, and then playing, play is the main verb and ing, and then the object, which is volleyball. And the second example is the same, but we change the subject from I to you, thus verb be is gonna change. Because as we know, I takes am, is with he, she, it, so any singular noun takes is, and any plural noun takes are, noun or pronoun. So with I we use am, with he, she, it we use is, and with all other pronouns we use are. To form a negative sentence in the present progressive, you need the subject, same as above, then verb be in present, which is am, is, are, then not, and then the main verb plus ing and the object. So what's different between affirmative and negative is that in the negative we only add not after verb be and before the main verb. So between the verb be and main verb we add not. Here we're gonna have the same example. So instead of I am playing volleyball, we're gonna say I, subject, am, the auxiliary or verb be in present, then we added the not, and then playing volleyball. So we only add the not between the subject and the main verb with ing. So how to form a present progressive? As a conclusion, we put subject, then verb be in present. So am, is, or are, depending on what's the subject. We choose one of these three. Then the main verb with ing, and then the object. Now, why do we use, or when do we use the present progressive? We use the present progressive tense to show, number 1, Actions happening at the moment of speaking. An action that is happening at the moment you are speaking is happening and didn't happen and was over. It's happening in the same time that you are speaking. Like, an example, Peter is reading a book now. So, while we're talking, Peter is reading a book. Number 2, we use it also for fixed plans in the near future. To talk about a fixed plan, a plan that is set already in the near future. Example, we're going to Basel on Saturday. So, we have a plan on Saturday which is going to Basel. Our sentence is going to be, we are going, present progressive as you can notice, to Basel on Saturday. Number 3 also, we use it to talk about temporary actions, actions that are fixed, like I am working in Rome this month. So for the whole month, I'll be working in Rome. Thus, it's a fixed action for a whole month, so we use the present progressive to express it. Also, number 4, we use present progressive to express actions happening around the moment of speaking, like longer actions. Example, my friend is preparing for his exams. So my friend started preparing before, is preparing now, and might continue preparing for his exams. So it's an action that took some time, or is taking, in fact, some time. It started in a short time now, and it's continuing as well. Also, we use it to talk about trends. Trends, as you know, are things that are happening in a viral way in our time, in the present. So an action that's happening in a wide range in the present tense, we call it a trend, and this word is commonly used on social media. So an example of this, more and more people are using their computers to listen to music. So using computers is a trend nowadays. Most of us use computers to listen to music. So this is a trend. To express that, we're gonna say more and more people are using their computers to listen to music. So they are using it. They started using it and they are yet using it now. Also, we use it, number 6, to express repeated actions which are irritating to the speaker with always, constantly, or forever. So we use it to state actions which are repeated, like the example here, Andrew is always coming late. So he is always doing that, an action that is being repeated in the present time. We use with it present progressive. So also, as a conclusion, present progressive is used in these 6 states in the present tense to express something that's taking a while in the present tense. Now, number 3, which is how to form a yes-no question in the present progressive. As you know, in English, we have 2 types of questions. We have questions with question words, like the WH words, like what, why, where, when. And we have questions without question words, without WH words, which are the yes-no questions. Yes-no questions are questions without question words. Thus, without words like what or why or where or when, as we said. How do we form these yes-no questions? They are formed by moving the verb be, or the auxiliary, before the subject, then adding the subject, and then the main verb. So if you remember, in the form of present progressive, you have subject, then auxiliary, then verb plus ing, and then object. While talking about yes-no questions, you're going to move the auxiliary from being after the subject to being before the subject. So instead of having subject plus auxiliary plus verb plus ing plus object, you're going to have auxiliary plus subject plus verb plus the rest. So we move the auxiliary or verb be from being after the subject to being before it. In the example here, instead of having they are writing emails, you will move the are from after the subject, so after they, to being before they. So it's gonna be, are they writing emails? And the answer is usually, if we're talking in an informal way, we use short answers. So we often use short answers in speaking and informal writing. Short answers are only used in informal writing, and also contractions are used in informal writing or speaking. If you are speaking or writing in a formal way, it's better to have a longer answer and with no contractions. So instead of saying yes they are, it's better to say yes they are writing emails, or no they are not, and not they aren't writing emails. Hope that everything went easy for you and everything was clear. For any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Stay safe till we meet again.